Всем привет! Меня зовут Ричард, и сегодня я покажу вам, как я сделал свой новый фильм. Why I just spoke Russian? The answer is simple. Why not? As you are watching the behind the scenes of totally random action video. So in that case, you can be sure that this video will be totally random as well. So sit back and enjoy the show. So right now we are at the first location of total random action video, and as I think of it now, the title is complicated already. So from now on we will call it Trap. Yes, you know what's the business. Okay guys, time for a retrospective tour. This is the location that has been used in exaggerated logic of Medal of Honor. This place itself was used in exaggerated logic of Far Cry. And if I should speak in general, I shot most of the projects here in the city because I was too lazy to go far to go for next locations to new cities. I was sure that there were many places to shoot my projects. Let's get crazy a little bit. Ons niet even koren. And here we are, the fake Russian-Mongolian border. I wish I could record it now, because that's how Russia looks like. So, we are done at this moment. The rest of the locations, as well as behind the scenes, which was done in advance in the same place at the day of shooting, is far, far away, thousands of kilometers. It's not happening. It is easy to fool people nowadays, thanks to technology we have. With a few clicks of a mouse or a button, you can be anywhere you want. France, Mongolia, Russia, Serbia, USA, you name it. This is the problem we have to face. Okay, you can have a look yourself. This is the video where the Serbia sign is available. There is the... let me zoom it in. I will turn it off. And see, we have normal Serbia in Czech Republic. And bam, 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 bam.
It's so easy.
It's so fucking easy. And as you were able to see my program now, let's go to the second part of the video to demonstrate a few of the effects that I've made for Traf project. Okay, we can start with the shot of the Serbian restaurant. Let me tell you more about the text. Domaća hrana I jeftina pića. Isprobajte našu pljeskavicu. It means homemade food and cheap drinks. Try our pljeskavica. That is the name of a Serbian hamburger, which is popular in many Balkan countries. So, let's get right into it. At first, let me show you how the original video looks like. It's almost the same. Only difference is the text, and our objective is to replace it with the Serbian one. The most important part will be the motion tracking. For those who are not familiar, motion tracking is exactly what it sounds like. It tracks the motion. We can assign any object into the coordinates, so it looks like it is the original part of the video. For beginning, let's do a little test. In this case, we need to track position and rotation, because both transformations are also present in the video. In order to achieve best results, we must create track points with high contrast, so the software can recognize it. First track point will be letter U, the second track point will be letter N. By accident, I set the base points at the end of the video, but we can track the motion in reverse from end to start, so it isn't a problem. Tracking time depends on how big the track points are. The more pixels you select, the more work for software to calculate the motion. Next step is to create a null object, so we can store the coordinates into it. In order to understand how it works, imagine that all layers are buckets. Text is a bucket with letters, solid is the bucket with color, and the null object is empty bucket, which we need to fill with coordinates. After we created our null object, we must select edit target. We must look for the name of the layer, which is null 31 in our case. After that, we apply coordinates into both dimensions, x and y. This is the result. Tracking looks good. Let's create a random solid layer as a test object. Let's give it a green color, for example. We will make some minor adjustments, and then we will assign the green object into the null object by holding the snail button and dragging into the destination. It's done. This was a simple example of how motion tracking works. Let's move on to the next part. In the next part, I will show you how I do shooting effects with everything that is necessary. This operation is a little bit difficult because of all the little details that we need to master in order to make shot as good as possible. Let's play the example. You can see many elements such as muzzle flash, illumination, smoke effects, and empty shells coming out of M4. If you are curious, this piece of final shot took me approximately something over 1 hour of clean time. Let me introduce you all major elements, starting with adjustment layer that serves the purpose as a painting window. It is pretty useful in situations where you want to apply all effects into all elements at once. Next important element is gun smoke. Don't mind the strange name of the file, as we know that many producers and filmmakers like to name things in style like untitled, new project copy, and so on. More or less, it is my own variation of smoke buff that I began to use in my projects. Now let's mention muzzle flash. I like to add a little bit of glow to it, because it seems to be more powerful in my view. But let's compare both styles. Here we can see only the base effect. The muzzle flash seems to be a bit cartoonish, with no physical properties. With the glow, I see more energy and the flash is more believable. Flying shells are not as difficult. You have to animate them for a while, but not as much. But difficulty begins to rise when it comes to illumination. As you open the masks, you can see how many keyframes were created. To make matters worse, motion tracking is useless at this point, so you must manually animate every point in every keyframe, plus additional feathering, which will take some extra time. Now let's discuss the bloody effects. We have elements such as blood hole, blood smoke, blood splash, bullet trail, and the blood stain on the jacket, which we will focus on now. I will turn on all mask paths for you to see, so you know how I make the blood flow into the jacket. Now I will turn it off, so you can see the clean result of an animation. Next elements are splashes from both sides. Again, not as difficult. because there are only few frames that needs to be animated, but we must be aware of timing of both animations. The backsplash must be delayed a bit, so it looks like that the bullet is traveling the right way. Bullet hole is at most cases inseparable part of the headshot. Let me show you the picture I used for this one. Make few frames of animation, use proper blending mode, and you are done. The easiest thing is the blood puff. Just take a regular puff from before and with use of tint effect give it a red color, and that's all. By combining everything into one piece, we get a nice rewarding shot that is worth it after hours of dull work with masks. And for the grand finale, let me show you my advanced green screen techniques, because in case of TRAF, I had to make a lot of them. To prove my point, let me play you all cuts from TRAF that wouldn't exist without the green screen.
У меня много вопросов. Мое задание выполнено. До свидания, друзья.
Surprising even for me. Needless to say, the green screen is my form of first aid kit. So I chose the bow scene as another demonstration. As you see, the green screen conditions are horrible. We can point out following disadvantages. You can see that I use a cheap green fabric to do the job, but luckily After Effects have solution even for this case. Next bad thing is the offset in the left bottom corner, where we must applicate the mask. Strong shadow in the right bottom corner presents a big problem, where animated masking and more specific keying process are inevitable. But the most complicated problem are green fletchings and green knock in the end of the bow. They will be keyed all together with a bow in standard keying process. Few hours later, we get this final shot, where every problem was solved successfully. For your better orientation, I have made custom names for every layer except the null object, which is obvious at this point. Let's start with the background. I have pre-rendered the picture with camera blur, because blur in such amount is rendering pretty long, so I did this to save some time. Now let's talk about the corner with strong shadow. This is how it looks like individually. As we know, the shot contained a lot of shades of green, so the only solution was to do careful elementary keying, shade by shade, which was fine-tuned with refined matte effect, which will smooth all edges and fix all the holes if possible. A little presentation on how this precise keying looks like, and refined matte fix all the imperfections nicely, as expected. Regular keying of bow was the easiest, because it was just about standard keying, but with elementary method, which I personally give priority to. But there was a little catch. The string of the bow suffered a bit from bow keying. The problem was solved by masking the part where problem was present, then adding different values so the part can differ from the values on the main bow. Fletching and the knock were the most time consuming, because the only known solution was to erase keying effect absolutely and making an animated mask once more, which was difficult but effective, of course. All methods combined together created a finished bow that was shot in awful conditions. It felt like building a Frankenstein for a while, with all those different parts that make a whole picture. The remaining crops caused due to fine-tuning the shot will be hidden cosmetically with the horizontal bars, or simply by setting the shot to 21 by 9 pixel aspect ratio, both giving the popular anamorphic feel.
prověním střihu a já otevřu papír.
Zasáhnutí za 3, 2, 1, teď.
Akce.
Akce. Tak, zamávat. A teďka si vezmeš pušku.